lots of people who engage in legal interpretation of the legal system. Is there any difference among those rules, or is there a kind of common interpretive principle? And partly that depends, again, back here on this list, right? What's your view about this list? Okay, let me do this, because we're very lucky today. We actually have somebody who's struggling with this very question in a very different context. Mexico is thinking about moving from a system that's more like a European model system. We call it inquisitorial, as if people get their fingernails pulled out and put on the rack. But more like a European model system, to more like an adversary system. And we have a very distinguished professor here who's thinking through these issues. And he came up to me and he said, he's sitting in our class, just foolishly thinking there was something interesting here. And I said, well, I don't know about us, but I know we could learn from you. So can you just say a little bit about where Mexico is on this?
Yeah, may I use the board just for
Sure.
minutes? All right. May I approach? That's what.
It's acting like I'm a judge. The one person we know who's not like a judge is a law professor.
Okay, so good morning, everybody. My name is Frank Osorio. I'm from Mexico, and yeah, I'm doing research here in private law school about the adversary system. That's why this class is really good for me. And what I want to say just really quick is what's going on in Mexico right now. As you may know, well, probably some of you have been in Mexico before. And you know, this is Cancun, for sure. This is Cabo, and well, this is Mexico City. So we have a federal system like you do. We have 31 states, and we have one federal district that is the capital is Mexico City. So we have, well, you have here, your system is common law, first, and for procedure you have adversary system that we would just talk about. And here in Mexico, we're changing, we have this civil law from Europe, like you know, and here our procedural system is written system, so we have everything written. We have these huge files for thousands of pages. So the judge, when he's going to decide the case, he has to read the thousands of pages. So it's not the same. So what we're trying to do is get this square here and put it in here. So this is really hard. We're not changing our substantive law, so we're just changing our procedure. And that is hard because here we have a square and here we have a circle. So what we're doing is we're Mexicanizing the system, and that's wrong. That's why I came here every time just to learn how it should be done in the correct way. So what we're doing in Mexico is we're trying to do this. And why we're doing this? In 2008, we reformed our constitution, and we gave the 32 states 8 years to move from inquisitorial system to adversary system. So it's just not enough time. We're 1/3 of the country have done the change, so just almost 11 states have moved from inquisitorial to adversary. So we're not even in the middle, and we just are right in the half of the time. You know, so we have just 4 more years, and we have to change this onto the Mexicanized adversary system. So, and of course you were wondering what it has to do with me. I'm a Harvard Law student. I'm going to get in a huge firm, a lot of money. What do I care about? What do I care about Mexico and Latin America? Because it's not only Mexico. Chile, for example, Argentina, Colombia, they already moved to adversary system. Already. They have already done this change. So what do you care? I think, because I learned that today, that because U.S. is in the competitive market, as the professor says, you need the same rules to play a fair game. It's supposed to be a fair game, but why United States is so interested in get the adversary system through the whole Latin America? That's the question. They are putting through U.S.
USAID, Agency for International Development.
Exactly. They are putting the money to train people in Latin America. In fact, I got a scholarship to get another from them in Los Angeles. I got the other in Los Angeles. So this is going to be great for you when you get your JD. So you're going to go to these huge firms, and then you will be able to try a case down in Latin America. Because you know the system. You know the adversary system. That's all you need to know. And because of, well, this is
I know.
because you know all these things. So you know what the adversary system is made for or works for. What is looking the adversary system. So you will be able to go down there and just try a case in Cancun, for example.
Thank you, Frederica. Thank you very much. I'll let you go. One is that we're going to be studying a lot about this. How is globalization changing the way in which people think about what it means to be a lawyer? And that's not just a normative contest, it's an economic contest. So you talk about markets. There's a big, big competition going on between the U.S. and the UK, and maybe even increasingly, say, other European powers or China, about if we're going to standardize the legal system, what's it going to look like? And part of what that will allow or shape is how people can practice across borders. And cross-border practice, more and more, is becoming the norm, whether you're in criminal law or domestic relations law, let alone double backflip mergers and acquisitions, right? And that has to be not just about rules and procedures and law firms, it's also a normative question, right? Because that's partly what we were talking about. How you understand the system shapes a lot of fundamental things about what kind of society you live in, what kind of rights people have, what kinds of careers people can have, what kinds of world that we live in, okay? And the very fact that a terrific professor here would spend a couple of days with us thinking about the business game and about, whether legal realism works and how the adversary system works is exactly a function of this. The last point is that if you're interested in Mexico or you're interested in thinking through more about this project, Federico has agreed, although he didn't actually say this, but I know he agreed, for me to put his contact information on the course website, and for any of you who want to contact him for any reason, including where to stay in Cancun. All right, I'll see you next week. Bring your rule book. We're actually going to